Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, you're welcome to today's edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. Money Radio is a program that brings you the latest development in Nigeria's business and economy cycles and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odu, and today we're talking technology as a segment of the Money Radio. And we're taking a look at awareness of cyber security. Now, you remember, this is the month of October, and this is usually the month where cyber security awareness seems to be the order of the day. It has a history behind this. In 2004, the U.S. National Security Cyber Security Alliance, in collaboration with the Homeland Security, actually launched this awareness on cyber security to help Americans to stay safer online. And from there, other nations of the world started copying the example of America, and the issue of awareness on cybersecurity has spread around the whole world. And Nigeria, of course, is not left out. And we are also making efforts in addressing issues concerning cybersecurity threats to the nation, the family, and corporate organizations. And so, to do justice to this very important topic, I have in the studio with me an ICT expert, Hanel Jafar. Hanel, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
We're in October.
Yes, the Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Yes.
It's generally a month that most cybersecurity expert looks forward to, because it's a month where we consecrate ourselves to spreading the awareness that is required in the cyber world. So it's usually a month that personally I look forward to.
Oh, great! And I like the word you use, consecrate.
Yeah.
If you have of the Catholic, those of the Catholic faith know what consecration means, and so the determination, the dedication, and the awareness given to important issues like this cannot be overstated. And so let's go deep down the memory lane. Americans, like we said, National Security Alliance and the Homeland Security of the U.S. actually started this move in 2004. And they have done quite a lot to help Americans to stay online, stay safer online, and then to avoid some of these high-risk security threats. Cybersecurity threats to American people. So it has now trickled down. It has become a worldwide movement.
Yeah, it does.
Has it really made the impact?
Yes, it is. Awareness is not something you do today and you let go tomorrow. Awareness, especially when it has to do with cybersecurity, it's a dynamic industry. Yes. The method of attack today will be completely different from the method of attack tomorrow. So you have to continue to be aware of the latest attack methods. So that's why it's not something that is going down anytime soon. We have to keep getting aware of what exactly these guys are up to, what's their next move, what's their strategy, what's their techniques, what are their methods. It's something that we have to keep upgrading ourselves. And this has nothing to do with whether you're into IT or you're not into IT. A target is a target. Some time ago we reviewed why you fall victim of cyber attack, and at the end of it, we find out that everybody is a target.
Yes.
So because everyone is a target, everyone needs to be aware of that, of how they can be compromised. And that's where the awareness comes in. That's where the cybersecurity awareness comes in. And the month of October is really the month that's dedicated for that awareness. It cuts across everybody. It cuts across organizations. It cuts across parastatals, even down to our individual selves. That's our personality, even to our family. It's the cut across it. So awareness has nothing to do with. It's not you can't say because I am the security man in my office or I'm the gate man in my office, I don't need awareness. That's where we get it wrong, because everybody is a potential victim.
Now, the issues are sometimes very complex and complicated. One expert said that there are two groups of people in this whole thing. Those who know that they have been hacked or they have been attacked, and those who do not know. So those who do not know that they have been attacked, how then would they get an awareness of
Well,
issues like
research has also showed that people that have been attacked, usually they don't know that they have been attacked until until months after the attack. You get, and usually it is not them that was the victim that usually detects it. It's usually a third party that detects that they have been attacked. You get, like the recent case, the 2020 attack that the U.S. Defense, Department of Defense, U.S. Department of Treasury, Department of Agriculture, Department of Justice, over 10 departments of the US were attacked 2020, this last year. Yet now most of them were not aware that they've been attacked. Most of the agencies under this department, they were not aware that they've been attacked until somebody now revealed that, okay, I'm seeing something, and it was a third party.
Yeah.
Fire, I think it was Fire Eye, an incident response organization that detected that attack, because they noticed that certain files on their system has been moved to another location, and they knew that they were not the one that moved the file, so they began to investigate how the file moved. That's how they began. They knew that, okay, this was an attack. Then they now went further to carry out the investigation, further investigation, and they realized that they are just pawn in the attack. That the major victims of the attack were the U.S. Department of State, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, Department of what's it called, Treasury, the Department of Justice, and the likes. So, and those are not the only victim of the attack. There were also other persons, other organizations, private organizations that were attacked, like even Microsoft. They were also victim of the attack. So all these organizations were attacked that last day. They never knew that they were attacked until somebody now detected the attack and now raised an alarm that there is a major attack and everybody should check the system. That's when, in fact, to date, people are still coming forward to say, okay, I think I was part of the attack that happened that last year. Why? Because it is after the attack was announced that they began to now carry out investigation to know if you were part of those that were attacked.
Wow, this is really getting deeper. If those corporate entities and even individuals and government organizations in America, with all the sophistication, didn't realize that they were attacked until months after, and they only had to take a third party to detect that, then there's big trouble.
Yes, there is. That's why there is need for constant awareness, consistent awareness. Why October is the month that is dedicated for it. It's not something that organizations should not wait until October before they begin to carry out awareness. In fact, it's supposed to be while you're carrying out induction training for employees, cybersecurity awareness should be a curriculum in it, especially for system users.
Yes.
Cybersecurity awareness should be a curriculum in itself. So employees that are being inducted should be trained on how to they should be aware of the techniques and tactics that cyber criminals make use of, because you can just employ somebody and the person is good in his job. Yeah, he's good in his job, or he's using a system that and the person may be so photogenic and likes showcasing its level of showcasing how good he or she is in photo, and will be snapping pictures in the office, and unknown to you that picture that is snapping may be a vulnerability that somebody would use, or the person maybe is snapping picture close to his desk, and maybe the person does not like memorizing passwords. So the person, some persons used to write their password, yes, and will just stick it on the top of their screen, of their monitor. Then when they're snapping pictures, they'll just go close to the monitor and my office desk, and they snap their pictures, their selfie, unknown to them that they've also snapped the password that is behind them. You get? So some people use that for information gathering. You're in your office and you snap a picture, and all of a sudden your what's it called, your ID card appears in the picture. So someone can carry what they can do. They can spoof your personality because they know where you work, they know your ID number, they know your name, they know, you get all this kind of information. So it's usually these are the kind of awareness the organization needs to begin to carry out to staffs. It's not only, and they should not focus on only system users, because even those at the gate and the cleaners, they also fall victims of this attack. Let's say or they can fall victim, or they can become insiders. They can fall part of the insider threat. An insider threat is someone that's inside the organization and knows the in and out of the organization. And someone just come and say, "Oh, the person, okay, I'm going to give you 5 million, 5 million naira." Meanwhile, the person has not even seen 100,000 naira. I give 5 million naira. All I need you to do is to on a system in the night, when the early hours of the day when you come to work. And you get I'll just on the system and I get 5 million naira. That's easy for me to do now. And at the end of the day, that turning on that system automatically makes that system vulnerable, and they will carry out what they want to do remotely, and they pay the person up. So insider threat it's not only technical users or system users that should carry out this, that should be equipped with this awareness. Both non-technical users. In fact, the cybersecurity awareness mode is dedicated to non-technical users. Actually, you get like our children at home who don't know what exactly it means, but just to carry their tab or carry their system and to operate their system, not knowing the implication of what it means to tell people where they are, not knowing the implication of what there are people's social media that you go to. They are not celebrities, they are nothing, but at the end of the day, you find out that you would know what and where they are at every given time. In fact, you can write a book about their personality and everything about them, because you've been able to go through their social media page profile and the pages and all the things they post, because they are eating today, they post that they are eating the food. They are traveling, they will post that they are in the airport. They are traveling viral, they will post that they are they'll tell you the location of where they are. There are social locations, they will tell you every of their thing is on the internet. And the internet is not a platform that forgets easily, and it's not a platform that when you can easily take off, because when it goes viral, it becomes something you can't control.
Okay, there's another thing now coming down to Nigeria now. We're facing some very difficult times, especially insecurity, and I understand that there are some enemy nations that usually attack other people, hack into their own security systems, and then even terrorist organizations also have learned how to do that. Now, in a situation where we appear to be looking very vulnerable to cyber attacks, security terrorists, exploiting that opportunity to hit at us. What do you think Nigeria should begin to do now? The awareness you're talking about, how far are we going in that way? Are we really aware of what is happening in Nigeria?
We're doing what we can do. We're doing what we can do, but we've not done enough. We're way behind. So let's start with while this point that I want to drive in is going to take food away from the mouth of certain persons, but that's the truth. Buying counterfeit softwares that most of us we are so eager to buy, because we go to Zone 3 and we buy softwares that is 300 naira. Meanwhile, the original software and the licensed software, it goes for around 13,000 naira, and you buy it for 300 naira, and you think what you're doing, what you're buying for 300 naira is equivalent to what you're buying for 13,000 naira. They may do the same thing, but the challenge, what we don't know is how did the software that is 13,000 naira automatically becomes 300 naira and does the same thing. Now, this is the process of how it works. Somebody somewhere picks that original software, does a reverse engineering on that original software, creates a backdoor on that original software, and give you the original software for a very low amount. In fact, they make it free. They put it on the internet for free. Then one of these Zone 3 guys goes to the internet, download the crack version, because they give you a crack. They download the crack version, burn it on the CD, and they sell the crack version and the CD, the crack version of the software on the CD to you. And you pick and you install. What you're installing, you're not just installing a software, you're installing a software with a backdoor. And that backdoor would mean that the person that created the backdoor would anytime, as long as that system is connected to the internet, anytime have access to your system. We are buying operating system 150 naira or 200 naira. Then what it means that as long as that operating system has a Trojan in it, it means that the person that created that operating system, there's a backdoor in it, the person that created that operating system automatically would have access to your system any day, anytime. So it does not matter the numbers of password and how strong your password is now, because you're already giving them a backdoor access.
Wow. If you're just joining us, we are talking about cyber security awareness, and of course, in the month of October, uh, October is known for the month of cyber security awareness. I'm in the studio with Hanel Jafaru, an ICT expert doing justice to this very important topic. Don't go away. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussion.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. Before we went on that short break, Haniel, you were trying to make a point on the measures now, to be taken to forestall the cyber threats. But there are some types of these cyber threats. Can you just throw some light on them? Like we understand there is password attacks, and phishing.
Yeah.
So how the middleman
man in the middle attack.
Yes.
Man in the middle attack is when somebody intercepts your communication, or there's a communication between two persons, me and you were discussing, and someone intercepts that communication.
Yes.
Now every communication or every information I'm sending to you literally pass through that man in the middle to get to you. So the man in the middle can decide to stop the message I'm sending to you. The man in the middle can decide to modify the message you're sending to me, and man in the middle can modify in such a way that it suits him. Let's say me and you are my account officer, I'm a banker, you are my account officer, and both of us fall victim of man in the middle attack. Then I'm asking you, as my account officer, I was asking you, please, can you help me do certain reset on my system or change certain password? Because you are my account officer, there are certain information that I would reveal to you that I would not reveal to any other person. So if I am asking for a password change or something, I may not be the one asking. I may just be discussing a regular discussion with you, but the man in the middle can change that discussion and make it to suit him, because he needs you to reset the password. So he will tell you that reset my password. So you will think that the request is coming from me, because you would not know that both of us are victim of man in the middle attack. Then eventually you reset, and when you send the password, it gets to him. Then he would now send a different message to me. So it's more of like there is a third party there that is monitoring our conversation and also modifying. Has the man in the middle attack, the person has the ability to actually modify the conversation and change certain information within the conversation,
including also changing issues of accounts.
Yes,
but that
any information.
Yeah, that is the type of cyber threat that a lot of Nigerians, I understand, are engaged in or involved in some parts of the world, say Indonesia and some other South Asian countries, where Nigerian young people who do Yahoo, and of course even in Nigeria here, this man in the middle type of cyber threat is a common one among them.
Not really, actually. Not really. Man in the middle is not really. What is common in Nigeria and other parts of the world is the BEC, business email compromise, where they gain access to corporate organizations' email, and they change account numbers. Because they have to log into the organization, they have to gain access to the email server, then they change account information. It can be bank account information, whatsoever information, and they send that information to a supplier, or a vendor, And once they send that information, the person sees that new update. They see where it is coming from. They see the account information, and when they want to make payment, they pay to the updated account. Unknown to them that the updated account is an update by the Yahoo guys or the so-called internet fraudster. So there's a case. There was a case about this kind of attack where somebody sent an email to an account lady, a paymaster or someone that was in charge of petty cash and all that, and the email came from the MD. But meanwhile, it was not the MD that sent the email, and the email was pay social amounts to this account number. So as she was trying to process this thing, her system went off and the lights, and eventually the MD now walked in. So she now told the MD that, sorry sir, I have not been able to process the instruction you gave me because my system went off. And the MD was like, no, I did not ask you, I did not send any email. He said, no, sir, you sent an email, and they went and found out that truly this MD sent an email. But the MD did not actually send an email. Yes. Because so it was a spoofed account that was used to carry out that transaction. Even not that the MD walked in, she would have just sent them to the person.
That would be disastrous. Wherever that comes
yeah. So there are so many, the phishing where someone manipulates you to click on a certain link or click on a certain link, or you are being manipulated to reveal certain information about yourself. Then there is a cyberbully that holds. In fact, teenagers are more prone to this particular cyberbully because they are not matured enough to hold the kind of dictatorship that comes with social media. And you will find out that there was a research that says about 90% of teenagers have in one way or the other experienced cyberbullying on the internet. And cyberbullying is when somebody is threatening you, someone is abusing you, someone is mocking you, all on the internet. Now, parents may not even be aware of this. All of a sudden, you just find out that your child is dull. What happened? Your child was on the internet, all of a sudden he's dull. What happened? They ask questions. Because this kind of attack, you would not know if you don't ask questions. So that's where the cybersecurity awareness for family comes to play.
Yes.
The family should be aware. At what time should they question their children?
Yes.
Because a child is experiencing cyberbullying, they will never tell you. So it is now on you as a parent to observe and ask what exactly was the challenge. Then it's also on you to monitor their internet activity, their online activity. Check out what they are doing. You can't just leave them to the internet. It's like you are leaving them to good and bad at the same time, and you are leaving them to their fate to decide whatsoever thing they want to pick, whether good or bad. You have to guide them while they are accessing the internet. Sadly, not all parents actually understand how the internet works. So the parents themselves need to get their awareness first, before they can now use with the awareness knowledge that they have, before they can now use it to impact and guide their children. But it is important that they know that cyberbullying is on the rise. Children are experiencing cyberbullying daily, and they should ensure that they equip themselves with the right skill or the right awareness skill so that they can guide their children because these are the things that will be the new trigger to suicide.
And then, of course, this issue of password attack.
Yeah, password attack is generally the brute force attack. That is where your password is being brute force and different combinations are being used to guess your password. Let's say someone knows your email, the person does not know your password, they carry out a brute force attack on you. So they would not be able to reveal with the brute force attack, they can now get your password using different combination of characters.
Now, there's another thing that we talk about: national security. Nations are also very vulnerable to this type of cyber threats, cyber crime, and the threats of cyber attacks.
Yeah,
like Nigeria that is facing serious security problems now. Aren't we vulnerable? And is the awareness enough in the security sector that nations can actually, who are enemy nations, can actually use forces to get at us using this security threat, cyber security threat?
Truth be told, we are not there yet. We're not there yet, and the world has moved from the place where they send spy to you, because there's what's called cyber intelligence.
Yes.
There's what's called cyber spying. They don't need to send spy to you. All they need to do is to put in a spy on your system, and everything that you are doing, they know about it. You get,
No, it's dangerous.
well, it is, but the vulnerability is what matters. Are you aware that what level of vulnerability, how vulnerable are you as a country, or the where you hold your meeting in an organization? How vulnerable are the systems there? We have video conferencing facilities in where we hold our meeting. How vulnerable are those conferencing facilities? We have different things. We have different technologies in place in our places of work. How vulnerable are these things? Because there is need for us to know the vulnerability that we are exposed to before you can now curtail it. If you don't know what you are exposed, the vulnerability you are exposed to, there's nothing you can do. It is your knowledge that enables you to mitigate.
Yes.
Yes. So without the knowledge of what you're vulnerable to, you can't mitigate. So Nigeria needs to go beyond what we're doing. The awareness needs to be on the rise. The awareness needs to be something that we do daily, both from the organization perspective, the family perspective, the parastatal perspective, even the government. There are
all encompassing.
They have to. There should be even a law that mandates cybersecurity awareness for organizations. At least once every quarter, ensure that you do cybersecurity awareness. If ITF, industrial training firms, want to initiate it, good and fine. But let there be cybersecurity awareness, because that's what's going to limit. Even as aware as US is, they still fall victim of cyber attack daily. Compared to we that we've not gotten there in the area of awareness. Yet, so let's ensure that we do the needful. We have the level of awareness that we need to get. Let's continue to be aware. Let's continue to research to get the new tactics of these guys and how they operate. Then let's relearn those tactics and let us get aware of those tactics. Then learn about the new tactics, because that's how it will continue. You learn new tactics, you let your people know about those tactics. You go ahead to learn about their new tactics, you learn. Because it's a cycle. It does not end. And with that, I think to a large extent, we have covered a lot.
Well, that's a whole lot of work to do.
Mm.
I wonder if we still have the fund, the resources to pursue these objectives you're talking about. As important as it is, to protect ourselves from these cyber threats. Now, there's also a very common one that we understand in Nigeria as internet fraud. Like we call them by the name Yahoo Yahoo. Now, a whole lot of these young men have been arrested, and they keep arresting them on a daily basis. If you go to the EFCC website, for instance, you see stories and news releases about hundreds and tens of men and young women and men that were arrested in Abuja, in Lagos, in Kano. They are just everywhere. And despite all the massive arrests, they are not letting up.
The reason they are not letting up is because, truth be told, there is this thing called, one, we lack the capacity to monitor. We don't have a database for us to be able to know what certain persons are doing. Two, we don't have the infrastructure that we need to monitor. And what I mean by that is, when one IP address in Nigeria can be used by over 60 something thousand persons, yet one single IP can be used by a whole number of persons, and with that it's difficult. If you are able to trace an IP to, if you are able to trace a crime to an IP, because that's where you trace it to, that's where it ends. As long as that's where cybersecurity ends. Once you are able to trace it to the IP, that's where it ends. Then physical security picks it up. Who owns the IP? They can now go ahead to arrest the owner of the IP. But where you have one IP, 64,000 persons are using it. Will you arrest that number of persons? But in the Western world, you don't have more than one IP cannot be shared with more than 20 persons. So with that, it's easier for you to carry out this thing. So the system itself is vulnerable. And that's why we will keep having the high numbers of persons going into it, and with the hope that MAGA will pay one day. But once we are able to get these infrastructures set, and they know fully well that an IP is for one person or an IP is for 10 persons, it's easier to calculate. The numbers are going to be on the increase in terms of the arrest, because they know fully well that, yes, they can't run again. They know the IP they want to do. Some of them will say they want to max the IP, but when they max the IP, there are technologies to unmax it. There is still the place of human capital? Does the government has do we have the human capital to be able to carry out this level of investigations or analysis of forensic? Because it covers a whole lot. There is the you need those that are skilled in hacking.
Yes.
You need those that are skilled in digital forensics. You need those that are skilled in cyber investigation. You need those that are skilled in incident response. So do we have them as does the police force, do they have them? Does the EFCC guys, do they have those kind of skilled personnel? Yeah, if they don't, then it means that we need to now start developing human capital in that perspective before we now start looking at how to now build the infrastructure.
All right. Thank you so much, Haniel, for joining us in the studio today. It's been wonderful having you once again in our program. It's on that note that we draw the curtains on today's edition of Money Radio. We promise to bring a fresh edition when next we come. Thank you and remain blessed.